I'm Danny Quinn, and welcome to another episode of First Impressions. On today's episode, I take a look at the spooky new Irish horror comedy, Extraordinary. The movie revolves around Rose, played by Maeve Higgins, a driving instructor who has the ability to talk to ghosts in the spirit world, but is reluctant to use her powers after a tragic accident. Meanwhile, the washed-up rock star Christian Winter, played by Forte, is trying to desperately revitalise his career by any means necessary, and has made a pact with the devil which requires a virgin sacrifice, and he puts a spell on a local teenage girl. Now it's up to Rose and the girl's father Martin, played by Barry Ward, to deal with their demons, resolve their romantic feelings for one another, and hopefully defeat Winter before the whole world collapses before their very eyes. Extraordinary is an Irish horror comedy that serves as the feature film debut of both Ahern and Edna Loughman. And it's a very promising film that showcases a pair of filmmakers who have a very bright future ahead of them. What I love about Extraordinary is how it doesn't take itself overly seriously and places its tongue firmly in cheek. The horror comedy subgenre is one that seems to be growing increasingly rare as of late, although that's perhaps understandable because it can be quite difficult to mix the two without your film coming off as tonally disjointed or schizophrenic. Yet it's a real testament to both Ahern and Loughman's skills that the film manages to balance its humour and scares quite effectively. The film wears its influences loud and proud. There's quite a few nods to The Exorcist and Ghostbusters, but the movie that this most reminds me of is Edgar Wright's Shaun of the Dead, as both are ostensibly rom-coms with something of a supernatural twist. And while this movie is a lot more tongue-in-cheek than Shaun, both films do have a fair bit in common, particularly with how they balance scares and laughs and even manage to shoehorn in a few moments of drama throughout the movie as well. But it's also a distinctively Irish film at its core, possibly the most local genre film I've seen since Bad Day for the Cuts. It's a very funny movie, all things considered, which I think does kind of make up for the relative lack of proper scares in the film. Although the film does have a great sense of atmosphere and energy throughout it. It's quirky and idiosyncratic, but in all the best possible ways. And the way that the movie deals with the supernatural is also very effective, both mining it for laughs and managing to get in some surprisingly poignant dramatic moments out of it as well. The character of Martin is dealing with the loss of his wife and is routinely haunted by her throughout the movie, and that does lead to some great comedic highlights, but it's also rather touching and heartfelt in how it handles grief and loss. Likewise, Maeve Higgins is struggling with her own metaphorical demons as she's haunted by the loss of her father, a famous television personality who utilised her ability to connect with the afterlife on his show. And there are several interludes throughout the movie where we cut to her father's show. In fact, the very first scene in the film is a clip of her father talking about ghosts on his old TV show, which does set the tone fairly well, but it did kind of lead me to believe that part of the movie was going to be found footage, which isn't the case at all. The movie at its core is a romantic comedy, and even though I'm not usually the biggest fan of the genre, the romantic element of this movie works really well here. The romance that blossoms between Rose and Martin is very effective, as both Higgins and Ward have good chemistry with each other, and the film humorously riffs or even just straight up takes the piss out of typical romantic comedy cliches, such as in one scene where Rose blatantly stalks Martin at a shop, or even the typical love triangle tropes where Martin is haunted and eventually possessed by the spirit of his dead wife, who naturally doesn't take too kindly to the fact that he's interested in another woman, let's just say. Most of the cast are absolutely fantastic, despite being largely unknown, and while both Higgins and Ward are excellent, the real standout of the film is Forte as the film's flamboyant villain, Christian Winters, who's desperate to regain the short-lived popularity he once had as a one-hit wonder. Forte is an absolute blast. He's always chewing the scenery and steals every moment he's on screen, as he continuously tries to practice black magic, but more often than not just ends up making a fool out of himself. I think my only real issue with the film is its pacing. It does kind of feel like there's a little bit too much going on, especially for a movie that's only 19 minutes. And for much of the movie, the hero and the villain aren't even really aware of each other. Not to mention, there's quite a few moments throughout the film where you just want to jump onto the screen and tell the other characters what the fuck's actually happening because they're so fucking oblivious. But at the same time, that feels like it's kind of part of the film's humour. It's not really a huge issue, it just feels like more of a nitpick than anything else. Overall, Extraordinary is an excellent horror comedy. even if it does place more emphasis on the latter than the former. It's delightfully quirky and funny, and while it does harken back to the days of Edgar Wright and Peter Jackson's early work, it feels very much like its own film. It has its own identity. It's distinctively local and Irish in a way that I've really not seen on the big screen before. Both Ahern and Loughman show a lot of promise as filmmakers, and I really look forward to seeing what they do next. And it's also just a really sweet and effective romantic comedy, with Higgins and Ward making for a very solid on-screen couple. And while Forte is an absolute scene stealer, to put it mildly, it's a real ghostly tale that's spookishly funny, and a great testament to what we're capable of in the Irish film industry. I'm gonna give Extraordinary a strong 8 out of 10. If you like films such as Shaun of the Dead or What We Do in the Shadows or even some of Peter Jackson's earlier work, I very strongly recommend this film. It'll be right up your alley, and if you're looking for a damn good film to watch over Halloween, hopefully this will still be out in cinemas at that time, but if it is, go see it. I really want you all to support local cinema, and when it's as good as this, it really gives me hope to see what we can achieve in the future. So, Extraordinary, have you seen it yet? If so, what did you think of it? Did you like it? Did you not like it? What did you like about it? What did you not like about it? Let me know down in the comments below. Thank you once again for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, feel free to leave a like, leave a comment, maybe even subscribe to my channel while you're at it. If there's anything I can do to improve my presentation, do let me know. I'm always happy to hear feedback as long as it's somewhat constructive. If you want to follow me on social media or support me on Patreon or check out my website, links are below down in the description. And until next time, I'm Danny Quinn, and I hope you have a pleasant evening.